Hey people, Pranks Man here. I'm doing a video on mower blade modification. I'm going to finish up the series on this video. Right now I'm doing the modification on the ride mower this time. I'll show you the ride mower. It's got a 12 horse, 12.5 horse IC motor in it, Briggs. It's a Yardman 4-wheel steer unit. Also has the bagging system on it. It's got some wear and tear on it. I got it used. The guy who gave it to me was having problems with it with the motor. It originally came with a 15 horse on it, overhead valve, Briggs motor. I did a modification on the Governor few years before that, and he's been driving it, and evidently the higher revs of the motor made the bolts that hold this half of the casing to this half of the casing of the block came loose. He didn't know what was going on, but when I got it, things started right up, and I started driving it around the yard, and it started knocking real bad. So I shut the motor off. I didn't blow anything, but the two halves was separated, but it was still running. I lost two of the bolts that held the casing together and had to end up switching the motor, and I put this one on. It's just a couple horses less than what the original one was, but it does okay. It still bogs down in really thick grass, but other than that, I just gotta watch how I mow. I gotta ride the clutch when I'm going through thick grass. So bagging system, 2 bags on the back. Works kind of weird. The bag on the left side usually fills up first before the bag on the right side does. That's because of how it's getting thrown into them. I need to do something about that. It fills up that bag, but it won't fill up that bag, and it starts clogging. So that's another issue I got to work out. But other than that, it works great. Key start, battery works good, so no pull string, thank God. And it's a 17 speed. Not 17, it's a 7 speed, I'm sorry. The rear end is forward and reverse. You get the gearing through the belts. It's got the double belt system on it with the wide belts. Plans on this thing is tearing it down, and I have another ride mower. That red one in there has the belt set up on it to where it has a 6-speed in it on the belts, plus another 6-speed rear end that I put in there. So it's got like 35 forward gears or something like that, and 6 reverse. I'm going to put that 12 horse on here with the bagging system, and you see needs a new deck on it too. So I'm going to try to fit that green deck on here with the bagging system on it and start driving this. I like the hood on it too. It's all metal. It's got the headlights, but they're not hooked up. Right now it's just an 8-horse Briggs motor on there with a pull start, so I don't need a battery for it. And the arm for the mower deck, the spring busted, I gotta hold it up with string. It's pretty dangerous because sometimes it'll be idling and it'll just drop down and start cutting. Other than that, it works great. This one works better in the bigger grass anyway because of the lower speeds. Oh, and it's called the Central Park. I don't know if you can see it. Lighting sucks. but it's a Central Park. I don't know. Okay, back to the issue at hand. I'm gonna pull the blades off and show you what I got on the blades so far. I tried doing a modification on this once already and it's not good enough, so I'm gonna see what I could do to improve it. Okay, I got the parts off the deck. I had to remove the deck. Found other issues, so I had to pull it. All that came out from the top of the deck. I don't know if you can see. All that dirt came out from the bottom of the deck. I wonder why I was having such a problem. Okay, I got the deck all cleared out. The blades are off. Eventually gonna have to replace the deck bearings. After this, I'll rig it up to where it'll be easier to pull the shafts. Certainly you could do it. I'll cover that in this video too. Just look at the blades. The blades, if you notice, got these things on there. Those are for when the blade is spinning, the outside of the blade, I'll show you on this one, the outside of the blade is blowing the air up, and in the center of the blade it's blowing the air down. That's how a mulcher works. It circulates the air in a circle. That's not what I want, so I will be removing the little blade in the center. And like I said before, I already tried doing this modification once by putting more blade area on there, but what I'm going to do is extend the blade all the way to the center, so it'll be a 1 inch by 1/8 flat stock on the edge of the blade all the way to the center. And I'll show you what that'll do. It'll basically create a wall of air on the top half of the deck from, let's see, the blades stop right here on the deck. So from here up will be pressurized air. It will be pushed out and then out of the outlet. Before, it was circulating. I don't want it to circulate anymore because evidently it's cutting down on air pressure pushing the grass going into the bag. I want as much airflow going up the tube into the bag as I could get, and by removing those center blades, those little ones for the mulching action, will do that. Okay, one more thing. When your mower sucks in a bag, the plastic bags, that's what happens to it. You want to make sure you want to clean it out. Jeez. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I added the wingtips to them, so I got more blade area pushing the air up on all 4 edges of both blades. I came up with the idea, instead of taking this secondary blade off, to turn the blades. Instead of it pushing the air down, they're going to be pushing the air up just like the primary blades. So I'll have the primary blade and then a secondary blade, smaller. And if you notice how I did it, comparison from this one to that one is pointed down this way, and when you look at this one, this is pointed down that way. So this is spinning in this direction. I'm gonna sharpen this edge it'll also be cutting, plus it'll be sucking up more air. And if you notice, I'm not putting the wingtips on going up, because once the air moves up, it'll be moving sideways too. I only did that on the push mower because the exit was on top of the deck as compared to the deck on the riding mower is on the side. So once it pulls the air up, it's got to move it sideways. And how I did this blade modification was I cut it here and here and took this little triangle. I didn't cut it off of this part, I just cut halfway through and I bent it up, but I snapped it off right here and then re-welded the whole thing back on. You can see the welds right here. And as for the shaft, if you notice, I took a little bit of metal off of the shaft on 4 corners. What that's going to do is relieve the pressure of it being inside the bearing by half. I did it on 4 sides. That way when you're pushing it through, it's going to have half the resistance of coming out. Plus I boogered the threads hammering on it with a center punch to push it out. So in order to fix that, you bevel the tip on them, so that way the nut goes. Whoop, dropping stuff again. Ah, get the nut back on there. There we go. No problem getting the nut back on. Did the other shaft like that too. I do that on axles too, for when you put the rims on. How the rims like to gets rusted on there and don't want to come off. It works on axle shafts too. Still gotta maybe hammer them off, but it won't be as bad. Okay, when I come back, I'll have this blade cut up, re-welded, then I'll put it back together and show you the mower deck after I get it all put back together, before I put it in the mower. Okay, I got the sucker back together. Look at the blades. Yeah, I got a boo-boo. Let's see. Edge, 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 and edge. So I got a primary blade and I got a secondary cutting blade on both. I think if they were blowing instead of sucking, it'd be a hovercraft. Now that should be a really, really big improvement. There's all the dirt that came out of the deck. Well, the only thing left is putting the belt guards back on and popping it back in there. I don't know if I'll have enough time to do a test run today. Sun's going down. Okay, I'm going to give a demonstration on how good it's going to pick up the grass along with the leaves and the debris. Take a look at my backyard. See all the debris. Okay, I'll cut half of it. Yeah, you can do a side-by-side comparison. I'll cut this half of the yard and leave this alone. That half is, well, that half's pretty tall. Okay, I got halfway through. Let's do this while I got some light. Check out the lawn, get a close-up of how good this thing's working. Look at the dirt, it's like it's been vacuumed, there's nothing loose on it. You can see where I cut and where I didn't. Over there. But yeah, it's working great, but it did clog. That was because I was going too fast and the grass is too thick. Another close look. You really can't tell through the camera, but the ground looks like it's vacuumed. It's working great. And this little bit, let's see, from the edge of that driveway to there, let's see, from there to there, I went all the way around this yard. That little bit, I don't know how many times I went around, but I done dumped the bag twice. So okay, modification's done on the ride mower. Have any questions, comment, rate the video. Stay tuned after the credits for a bonus clip. I shit you not of what I said. Thanks to man. Bye. Alright, it's time to put up or shut up. What did I say in this first video segment when I was doing the push mower? What it do with the Chihuahua poo? Time to prove it. What is that? Gone. Whew, you can smell it. When shit hits the fan, it stinks.